series on the Shabbat Layil entitled, "And they worship the sun toward the east." And they worship the sun toward the east. We're going to start out in Isaiah, the Old Testament, Isaiah the 17th chapter. But as a brief introduction, Yahweh is talking about the multiple lights that He created to light up the earth, because the earth is a dark place. And one of them was the sun. And what Yahweh showed us has happened is that people worship the creation more than the Creator.
Yeah, right.
And they have gotten confused because Yahweh said He and Yahshua are lights, and they have personified this natural sun, which is His creation, as a light.
Okay.
And we also got involved with that at our first temple, because when we first came into the truth, we were told that we should observe days, and I should say this is an update to Garden of Eden Time, which is on YouTube as one of our videos. We were told that we should worship days from sundown to sundown, and we did that for years. We found out years later that sundown and sunset are not in the Bible.
Praise be to the mighty Yahweh.
So, unlike the English words that are in the Bible, they can be taken back to the original languages.
Hallelujah.
Sundown and sunset can't, because they're like the letter J, which wasn't around until the 17th century.
Okay, Yahweh.
Merriam-Webster, which is a person that made a dictionary, defines sundown as sunset. So she says sundown is sunset. Is the time when the sun goes below the horizon. So we were told in order to know when a day began, you got to look at the sun to see when it gets dark, when the sun goes below the horizon. Well, since then, Yahweh has given us revelation knowledge and let us know that that's part of this sun worship.
Yes, it is, Yahweh.
And also, Yahweh is letting us know, which we'll see in this series, that He gave us a different method to determine when a day begins and ends. All right? So Merriam-Webster says its first known use was in 1620 AD.
Well after the Bible was written.
So it just came into existence in 1620 AD. And we had looked at Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, where Yahweh talked about, we're not going to go there, you just stay there in Isaiah, where Yahweh talked about the children of Israel doing great abominations.
Okay.
And then when he got to the 15th verse, he says, okay, Yehezkel, I want you to turn, and then this is even greater than the ones that I've already shown you. And he said, verse 16, Ezekiel 8 and 16, I'm going to read it. And he brought me into the inner court of Yahweh's bayit, or His temple. And behold, at the door of the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 Adam, or men, with their backs. With their backs. With their backs toward the temple of Yahweh. And their faces toward the east. And they worship the sun toward the east. Now Yahweh let us know last night there are some in Yahweh's temple that say we'll stand and face the east to pray to Yahweh. Yahweh is going to show us in this series. He's precise.
Yes, He is.
He's
all the
specific.
time, no matter what.
He says exactly what He means, and He says exactly what He wants us to say.
That's it.
He gives us no leeway to insert and say, oh, standing to face the east is the same as what Yahweh said to do. We went to 1 Kings, the 8th chapter, where Shlomo had built the temple to Yahweh, and he dedicated the temple, and he prayed a prayer to Yahweh, and he was saying, okay, if your people are here, or if they're there, and they pray, when they pray toward this place, he's talking about the temple that he built. Now the temple is not there, but we as His people, He said, let Jerusalem come into your mind. You pray towards that spot where the temple was.
Praise the
Go to
mighty
1
God.
Kings, the 8th chapter, read the 8th chapter, then you read 1 Kings, the 9th chapter, to see where Yahweh said he would honor that.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh said, my eyes and my name will always be at that spot that you're asking me, no matter where your people are, to stand. So we say we'll stand and face towards the holy place where Yahweh said his eyes and ears would be there perpetually. And if we would bethink ourselves and turn towards that place in sincerity and in truth, he would hear us and grant us our prayer.
Yes, he will. Yes, he has.
So that's in 1 Kings 8 and 9. So we don't say stand and face the east. So again, it says they worship the sun toward the east.
Right, right.
And again, we can do things ignorantly in
Yes, we
deception.
can. Yes, we can.
And that's why Yahweh says he comes and he shows
Yes,
us
he does. Yes, he will.
when we're off so we can get back right.
Hallelujah.
So we were in the process of reading this article from Encyclopedia, the International Bible Standard, International Standard Bible Encyclopedia about sun worship by James Orr. And what Mr. Orr did was kind of try to explain, plus hook up scriptures about why people personify the sun, made it a person. They've even personified the moon, right?
Okay.
Say the man in the moon.
Yeah.
Okay. And they personify trees. They worship trees. They worship all kinds of
Right,
things. But he's saying now, in the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia about sun worship, the splendor of the sun makes it a natural object of adoration. Okay, you can admire the sun, but don't start worshiping it.
Right.
Don't make it an Elohim.
Right.
Once the pure idea of the one true God is parted with, he's saying when he's separated
Right.
from Yahweh,
Right.
and in most ancient nations, the worship of the sun was an outstanding feature. They started focusing on, Yahweh said they worshiped the planet, stars, moons, the things that they could see.
Right.
So that's why they started worshiping the sun. And then he talks about in Babylon and Assyria, they had sun worship temples. In Egypt, they had sun worship temples. And all these are religions. These are not just
Religion, that's right.
non-religious things. All these are things to replace Yahweh.
Okay, y'all
And
right,
to
right. Tell
stop
like
people
it is.
from understanding who Yahweh and Yahshua are. All right? And we had saw that when
Praise
Yahweh
the
took
mighty
our
God.
people through Yahshua to take over the promised land, they were capturing different cities, and they had houses of the sun, which were temples to worship the sun. All right, so we went to about 4 or 5 of those, and the name, the Hebrew name for sun is Shemesh. All right, and then Beth Shemesh is what they would call the houses of the sun. So now we're looking at these people that are worshiping the sun, and this man lets us know that in different versions of the Bible, they named them idols, images, and things like that, but it's still talking about sun worship.
Right.
All right, so let's pick it up in Isaiah
Praise
17.
the mighty God.
Isaiah 17. And we want to read one verse, verse 8, please.
Hallelujah.
Isaiah 17 and verse 8.
And he shall not look to the altars, the work of his hands, neither shall respect that which his fingers have made, either the gloves or the
Okay, so what else says now? And he shall not look to the altars, the work of his hands, neither shall respect that which his fingers have made, either the groves, talking about trees, or the images,
Okay.
talking about the sun and the planets and
Right.
other things that people have made into humans to worship.
Right.
All right? We're in Isaiah. Let's go to the 27th chapter. So it's talking about the work of his hands.
A man,
So if we can make it, how can it be our Elohim?
I know, right?
But again, man deceives himself
Yep, like Hasatan had to
into
do it.
thinking that he can make something and then fall down and worship it.
It's all the
Like
work
they're about to
of
do on
Hasatan.
December 25th, ignorantly
Okay.
and bow down before the tree when they get the gifts
Yep,
from the
yep.
tree.
Ignorantly.
Isaiah 27, I'm going to read one verse, verse 9.
Hallelujah.
Isaiah 27, let's read verse 9.
By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he markets all the stones of the altars as callous stones that are beaten in sunder, the gloves and images shall not stand up.
He says, by this therefore shall the iniquity of Yaakov be purged. Well, we want our iniquity, our sin, deep-seated sin to come out.
Yes, we do.
We don't want to bury it down and keep it in there.
No, we do not.
And this is all the fruit to take away his hatah.
Okay.
When he make it all hasur of the altar as chalk stones. So this is what we're doing now. Yahweh is beating down sun worship, planet worship, whatever else is being worshipped besides Yahweh. He said, make the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder.
Okay.
The groves, the trees, and the images shall not stand up.
Okay.
Why? Because they're not the real thing.
They're not
not
of God.
saying it can stand up. It's falsity.
That right?
All right, let's go to Ezekiel, the Old Testament Ezekiel. Just a couple of books behind Isaiah. Ezekiel, the 6th chapter. And Yahweh wants us to see how this sun worship has pervaded all of the civilizations on the face of the earth.
Right.
We had read something from Encyclopedia Britannica last night, where the man was talking about, and sun worship is relatively rare. That's a lie. It's all over the globe.
Yes, it is.
And then it's all throughout this Bible. That's how our people got influenced by
That's
it.
right.
Ezekiel 6, and we want to read verse 4. Ezekiel,
Hallelujah.
right behind Jeremiah and Lamentations. Ezekiel 6, and let's read verse 4,
And
please.
your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your
He
idols.
said, your altars shall be desolate. This is talking about the altars that they built to something other than Yahweh. And your images shall be broken. And I will cast down your slain down before your idols. So, at different points during our history, Yahweh actually killed the children of Israel. And laid them before the altars of these natural things that Yahweh made, the creation that they had started to worship. Let's get down to verse 6 in this same chapter, Ezekiel 6 and verse 6.
In all your dwelling places, the cities shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate, that your altars may be laid waste, and make desolate, and your idols may be broken and ceased, and your images may be cut down, and your works may be abolished.
And your works, he keeps saying yours. See, he's got his.
Yes, he
but
does.
Then, as we saw this past Thursday, people want to have theirs.
Yep.
And I was telling before we started about how the grocery store was packed, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. But they were all in there. The world, it says, has gone after the beast. They're wandering after the beast. And the beast is this religious system that's been set up. And Yahweh has given us revelation knowledge and let us know how to come up out of the beast.
He said come up out of her.
Not, it says, so their works, which used to be our works. We celebrated Thanksgiving.
Yes, we did. Y'all right.
We were there on New Year's, eating them old stinking chitlins and all that other stuff. Okay, so that's because we grew up in a family that didn't know Yahweh.
That's right.
All right, but now Yahweh has brought us out of that, so our children will not be doing that.
Hallelujah.
No.
You said, but your image is going to be cut down, and your works are going to be abolished. All right, let's go in the Old Testament to Job, the 31st chapter. Job, the 31st chapter.
Hallelujah.
So we got to see where this thing is going. As long as we're straddling the fence and doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, then we're we're going to go down.
Yes, you heard. Thus says
Yahweh
Yahweh.
came to bring us up.
Yeah, thus says Yahweh.
And then, as Israel, we were taught to look at the sun to determine whether or not the Shabbat or any day had ended or began.
Okay.
But then we would death on people
Uh-huh.
on Iyshshah or Easter Sunday,
Right.
going out there to look at the sun rise and worship the sun. And like the Ruach said last night, how can we be so death on other people? Because we were in deception.
Right, right.
And then we were talking about the Romans, because they say that a day begins at 12:01 a.m. So they say that's the beginning of the morning. And then we would say, how can they say that? Because it says midnight.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you go to any dictionary and you understand that mid means middle.
Right, right.
In other words, there's supposed to be some time ahead
Uh-huh.
and the same amount of time before 12 o'clock.
Right, right.
All right? And Yahweh's going to show us in this series that people have made the Shabbat and Yahweh's days be floating.
Huh.
You got
Right,
people
right.
around floating Shabbat.
I know, right.
Where they keep the Shabbat any day of the week.
Huh.
Okay.
All right? But Yahweh said it's on the 7th Yom.
That right,
Well, some
7th
kind
Yom.
of way they've hooked it and crooked it to say, okay, well, I'm counting, 7 days from this and this and this, so the Shabbat can fall on a Sunday.
Huh.
Or the Shabbat can fall on a Monday. Well, when we first came into this, ignorantly did that, of
Yeah,
floating
yeah.
Shabbat as far as hours.
Hallelujah.
But we were death on the Romans talking about midnight.
Right, right.
The word itself means in the middle.
Right, right.
You got to have as much time before, whether you have 4 hours before, but if you have 4 hours before, you got to have 4 hours after.
Uh-huh.
But guess what? Yahweh's going to show us he got 6 hours
6,
before,
that's it.
and he has 6 hours after.
That's it.
That's where the Romans got 12 o'clock,
Okay.
midnight. And they also got 12 o'clock midday,
That right.
which is noon. In other
Right.
words, it means there's 6 hours before noon
and 6
and
after.
6 hours after.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh is precise.
Yes, he is.
It's
all the
man
time,
that
no
does
matter
this
what.
sliding scale. If you go to school, they say, okay, did you grade on a curve?
Okay.
Yahweh don't have no curve.
Uh-uh.
Yahweh has straight and narrow.
That's it.
Yahweh has precise. You can always tell when it's Yahweh talking because it's going to be decently and in
Yeah.
order.
Straight to the
All
point.
right, so we're in Job, the 31st chapter. Let's read verse 26.
Hallelujah.
31 and verse 26. We just want to see how pervasive this sun worship is.
Okay.
So we can't say, okay, we as Israel, we weren't influenced by it. Yes, we were.
Yeah, we were. It's our history book.
31 and 26, please.
If I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking brightness.
All right, so Yowm was saying, now, if I was one of those that was gazing at the sun,
right.
and I think you have to get some kind of special glasses to look directly at the sun.
Yeah.
And then they make it this big, giant thing when, the moon's going to pass over the sun, you're going to have an eclipse.
Yeah.
You see people standing all along the lake, just standing, waiting. Oh, did you see? And did you see? Did you see?
Right.
Well, what do I want to look at that for? And again, you can look at it if you want, but all I'm saying is, why is it such a big deal? Because
Right.
people are worshiping this
Worshiping.
stuff.
Y'all right, so damn.
Oh, you should see. Oh, you meant no,
Tell it
didn't
like
miss
that.
it.
Right.
If I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, and then I said it was the man in the moon, or I said it was Mr. Sun,
Yeah.
or then I made me a sun at home,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm gonna fall down and worship it, and act like it's something other than the natural light that Yahweh made it to be.
That's all it is.
Job said, I didn't do that. He said, if
Right.
I did that. Well, he was trying to justify the stuff that was happening to him.
Right.
But he's saying, well, this is one of the things I didn't do.
Okay.
All right, verse 27.
And my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand.
So he's saying, if I've made my own deity, I'm making my own
Right.
walk. He said, and my pay or my lay, my heart has been secretly enticed. In other
Okay.
words, if I was deceived doing this stuff, but I wasn't. Or my mouth has kissed my hand like I'm so wonderful.
Right.
Or I did,
Hold yourself up.
And people do that.
Yeah, they do.
You can't hardly hold a conversation with me. And I,
Well, you know,
Well, Yowm said I didn't do that. All right? And the man continues on. Numerous passages show that this form of idolatry latterly penetrated deeply into Judah.
Okay.
Even into its temple worship. Let's go in the Old Testament to 2 Kings. So this is to dispel people thinking that we weren't influenced by it.
Okay.
2 Kings 23. Not only got influenced by it when Yahweh had Moshe bring the children of Israel out of Mizraim, and then he went up to get the mitzvah, the commandments. One of the first things they did when he stayed a little longer than they thought was they made those cows to Shabbat, to worship, to serve, to bow down. All right, 2 Kings, the 23rd chapter. And Moshe, his righteous indignation, Yahweh told him, look, go down there, the people have corrupted themselves. Israel now, you wasn't talking about Gentiles, you talking about our people.
That's right, the so-called black man.
And then he went down there and saw what they did and had the mitzvah commandments of stone and just threw them. Like, what are you people doing?
I know, just brought you out of Israel.
Our people.
Yes.
All right, so it penetrated deeply into Yehuda.
Yes, it
even
did.
in his temple worship.
Hallelujah.
I told you our first temple when we came in, they talking about watch the sun going down. They didn't do it maliciously.
Right.
We're coming up out of darkness.
He was ignorant.
Y'all just waking us up.
Yes, he has. Yes, he will.
2 Kings 23, 1 verse 5.
Hallelujah.
And he put down the affiliation priests whom the king of Judah had ordained to burn increase in the high places in the cities of Judah and in the places round about incense unto Ezra, to the sun and to the moon and to the planets and to all the host of heaven.
So this is Yehuda now. It says, he put down the idolatrous Kahina.
Okay.
These supposed to be priests of Yahweh, like you and I.
Right.
Whom Hamelech of Yehuda, the kings,
I know, right?
the leaders, had ordained, set up to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Yehuda. Penetrated deeply.
Yeah.
And in the places round about Jerusalem.
Okay. Cadets.
All up in Israel. Them also that burn incense unto Baal, to the sun. This is not talking about Goe now. This is not talking about Gentiles.
Know, right?
This is talking about our people. To the sun, to the moon, and to the planets. And to all Hasaviot of Shemayim. To the host of Shemayim. Stars.
Right.
Whatever's up in the sky.
Right.
And then a little later, you had the Gentiles come with their Greco-Romanism, and then they start, okay, and then you got the little dipper, and then you just trace this and this and this.
They added
and then you have people actually look up there and do like that connect the dots thing. Oh yeah, that does look like a dipper. No, it doesn't. But again, we were raised in this system.
Right.
So we were co-opted into that.
Yes, we were.
All right? But Yahweh wants to show us our people, how heavily involved our people were in that.
Okay.
Skip down to verse 11. Same
Hallelujah.
chapter, verse 11. 2 Kings 23 and verse 11.
And he took away the horses and the kings of Judah had given to the sun at the entering in of the house of Yahweh by the chamber.
Nathan Melech,
the chamberlain, which was in the server, and burned the chariots of the sun with fire.
See where the word suburbs came from?
Yeah.
Came from Yahweh. It says, and he took away, this is talking about a righteous king of Israel, the horses that the Melech of Yehuda had given to the sun. It's not talking about Yahweh or Yahshua, it's talking about the sun, natural sun, up in the sky.
Yeah.
They're claiming it was a deity. At the entering in of Habayah Yahweh, right there at the temple.
Right.
Got the horses right in front of the temple. When the people come into the temple, they're seeing the horses given to the sun, and then they're being co-opted because the leadership is doing it, and they're thinking it's all right. See, when people see you do something, and you say you're worshiping Yahweh, then they start thinking it's all right. That's why I admire my Iysh, and I admire men of Yahweh who are just black and white.
Hallelujah.
Hot or cold, like Yahweh said.
That's it. Praise to
That
mighty
makes
God.
it clearer for people. That makes it easier for people.
Hallelujah.
I got a text from someone asking, was it all right to go serve Thanksgiving dinner at a homeless shelter on Thursday? And I did exactly what Yahweh told me to say. I know what my husband would have said. I know what Yahweh and Yahshua would have said. And I said, no, that's not a good idea.
Right.
See, it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
But sure enough, somebody's going to see you up in there. And they're going to, they're celebrating Thanksgiving there.
Yep.
But see, there's a line that Yahweh has put out there.
Yes.
And we're going to study it further where he says that you can have pleasure in them that do those things, even though you're not participating.
Right.
That's part of having pleasure in them doing those things, just like getting that plate of Thanksgiving food.
Right.
You're having pleasure in them that are doing those things. And again, where were they on the Feast of Tabernacle? Where were they on the Feast of? They weren't there. All right. It says, the kings of Judah had given him to the sun at the entering in of the temple of Yahweh by the chamber of Nathan Melech the chamberlain, which was in the suburbs, and burnt. This man burned the chariots of the sun with fire. He burned them up.
Right.
Because Yahweh told him to burn them up.
That right.
Don't say, they look so nice, I think I'm going to take those from my... No, Yahweh said, burn them up. Get rid of them. All right? Let's go Old Testament to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. And we're going to read this scripture again that we read last night. Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. So we see from 2 Kings, from Job, all the way over to Ezekiel, how they had gotten deeply entrenched.
Yep.
And they knew it was wrong, but in Ezekiel 8th chapter, they started hiding from people. It doesn't matter if we see you doing something.
I know, right?
Yahweh sees you.
All seeing
They figure, okay, we can just hide from the people. And Yahweh talk about them digging tunnels and different things and doing this dirt. Hey, Yahweh sees you.
Yes, he does.
Whether you have a tunnel or not. Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, we want to read one verse, verse 16.
Hallelujah.
And he brought me into the inner court of Yahweh house, and behold, at the door of the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs toward the temple of Yahweh, and their faces toward the east, and they will worship the sun toward the east.
All right, so this is the scripture that Ruach had mentioned earlier.
Right.
He brought me into the inner court of Yahweh's temple. You know, he had the inner court, the outer court. He had the temple and the most holy. But he's saying these people had their back to the temple.
I know.
And they were supposed to be facing the temple, which we do. And it just happens to be this way. And it's actually not a perfect east. That's why we don't say stand and face the east. That's one of the reasons. But the main reason we don't say it is because Yahweh didn't say it.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're actually a little southeast when you look at a map.
That's right. Yeah.
where Illinois is, and you kind of look at Jerusalem, we don't say stand and face southeast.
Right, right.
If I was in Germany, I wouldn't say stand and face west. Why? Because Yahweh did it so we can all stand and say the same thing.
Right, right.
Face toward Jerusalem.
Hallelujah.
Towards that temple where Yahweh said his eyes and ears would be there perpetually.
Right, right.
He said the way for us to say it, then you don't have to auto-correct depending on where you are.
Yeah.
All right, in your own mind. So there was a king, Josiah. He had a reformation, he says, and he took account of the abuses that the children of Israel had gotten in. Let's go to Old Testament, 2 Chronicles, the 34th chapter. And again, it is abuse.
Yeah, it is.
Here Yahweh has nourished you and brought you up.
I know, right?
And you're going to turn into an abuser and abuse Yahweh and worship in the creation instead of the one that made it. 2 Chronicles 34. And this is what King Josiah, who started ruling at 7 years old. So again now, children can sometimes be more righteous than the adults.
Oh, yeah.
And can tell you something more pure and just out
Yes, that's what it is.
what Yahweh has put in there.
Yes.
And this king was at 7 years old, ruling and reigning.
Praise
So
be
this
to the
is
mighty
him.
God.
I'm not saying he was doing it at the age of 7.
Right,
but I'm saying they put him on the throne. Yahweh said put him on the throne at 7.
Yeah.
So Yahweh knows something we didn't know.
That's right.
You might say, oh, well, he's not old enough. No, Yahweh said put him on the throne.
That's right. Y'all rule our rules.
All right, 2 Chronicles 34, one verse 4.
Hallelujah.
And they break down the altars of Balaam in the presence and the images that were on high above them. He cut down and the groves and the carved images and the molten images. He brake in peace, and he made dust of them and stowed it upon the graves of them that had sacrifices.
Uh-oh, it looks like some of these people in this sun worship and the host of heaven worship got killed. It says, and they break down the altars of Balaam in his presence. This is righteous king that was standing up for Yahweh, which is what we do. That's what we're here for. Stand up for Yahweh. And the images that were on high above them. He cut down, and the groves, cut down those trees too, because they got into worshiping trees. Like the world again, who I keep saying, this season, worshiping trees. And the carved images. You can go down Lakeshore Drive and see this carved image. They changed the name to totem poles, different things like that. What's this carved image?
Right.
They changed the name to a piece of jewelry.
Right.
When you got this person up there stretched across on
Praise
the cross.
Praise y'all right. Tell like
That's a carved image.
Y'all right.
And the molten images, that's the jewelry right there. He break in pieces and made dust of them. Then he threw it on the graves of them that had sacrificed them. Those that were involved in this sun worship. Let's get down to verse 7.
Hallelujah.
2 Chronicles 34, verse 7, please.
And when he had broken down the altars and the groves and had beaten the graves' images unto powder and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem.
There you go. He had finished what Yahweh told him. All right. So as the Ruach said, we're going to go to Old Testament. Let's go to Malachi, the 4th chapter.
Hallelujah.
When we first came to the truth at our temple, our first temple, they told us that days began at sunset and sundown. And for the weekly Shabbat, they would say, okay, wait about 5 more minutes before the sun goes down. Then you can be sure that it is, the new day has started, that the Shabbat is over. But Yahweh has shown us that he Didn't even create the sun until the fourth
That's
day.
right.
Meanwhile, he
Yeah,
had created
right.
3 days. He had made 3 days already.
Right.
So what's up with that?
I know, you don't need the sun.
Something, Yahweh is telling us something. All right? So now, the Hebrew word for sun is again shemesh, and I read it last night. Let me go over and read it again. The English word for sun is the Hebrew word shemesh. That's S-H-E-M-E-S-H. Found at Strong's number 8121. It means to be brilliant. It means the sun, talking about the natural sun. The east, a ray, a notched battlement means eastward, east side, sun rising, westward, and window. And we had looked at another dictionary, dictionary.com, says sundown is number one, sunset, especially the time of sunset. Remember, sundown and sunset are not in the Bible. Okay? So when we first came into the truth, we were told to reckon something that's supposed to be truth by something that's not in the Bible.
Right.
And it wasn't anything malicious.
No, it
But
wasn't.
it just, we're all in the process of learning.
That's it. Here we
Anybody
move.
that stands up to you and tell you, like some people did, a friend of mine years ago, sat her in a chair in the middle, and some brothers surrounded her, and was asking her questions and different things. You mean you don't know that? How long you been in this thing?
Right.
Well, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? And I think she was maybe 19, maybe 20. But the whole thing was us totally out of order.
Right, yes it was. That ain't God's
To
way.
sit her in the middle of the chair,
Drill her.
and the brothers surround her.
Right.
So again, we're all in transition. Anybody
we
that
are.
stands up and tells you they know everything there is to know, like we know somebody that did that, and didn't need their Bibles anymore and threw them in the garbage.
They in error.
My husband told him, look, next time you do that, call me so I can get them Bibles out of it, because I can use them for reference. All right, so dictionary.com says sundown is number one, sunset, especially the time of sunset. And it also means in psychiatry to experience confusion
Okay.
or hallucinations at night as a result of strange surroundings. Well, we experienced that because it was pitch black, the sun was dark, and people were telling us that's when the day started. We were in strange surroundings.
Yeah.
Yahweh didn't say sundown. He said evening. And
That's
when
right.
you go and search it out, when you leave English, you find out there's different words.
Yes it is.
Evening and sundown and sunset, which are not in the Bible,
Okay.
but the sun going down are not equivalent. All right? It means hallucinations at night as a result of strange surroundings or reduction of oxygen supplied to the brain. So what happens when your brain doesn't get oxygen for a certain amount of time? You become brain dead. Isn't that something that the word sundown means that? It was first recorded, according to dictionary.com, in use in 1610 to 1620 AD as two words combined, sun plus down.
Okay.
And again, it's like the letter J. All right? Okay, so we want to go to Malachi, the 4th chapter. Yahweh had to start looking at this last night.
Praise the mighty God.
Because what happens is, this Hebrew word shemesh, all of a sudden, we're going to see that it actually does apply to a person. It's not talking about the sun up in the sky. And there have been people that theorized and said, oh, this should have really been S-O-N. But when you go back to the original language, you see it's that same Hebrew word shemesh.
Okay.
All right? But Yahweh through Ruach HaKodesh has to give us revelation knowledge and spiritual understanding about what he's talking about here.
Yes.
All right, Malachi 4, and let's read verse 2, please.
Hallelujah.
But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in the wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as cows of the star.
So now you see this is a capital S-U-N here.
Right, right.
And this misappropriation and not understanding what Yahweh is saying here and who he is talking about.
Right, right.
Because he is actually talking about a person.
Yes, he is.
Not the son that somebody made into a person.
No, right. He talking about his son.
It has nothing to do with son worship. It says, but unto you that reverence my Shem. Now he's talking about himself.
Right.
Yahweh shall the son of Sadakah.
Right, right.
The capital son. This is a person now.
Yahshua.
Arise with shalom in his wings.
Yes, yes.
Ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. We're growing up now.
Yes, we are.
We found out that we don't have to look at the sun for any reason.
No.
Now, if you just want to look at the sun, that's you. We learned that we're not going to attach any more significance to the sun than Yahweh attached to it.
Right.
So when we searched this scripture, we found out the Son of Righteousness is an actual person.
Yeah.
And we had gone to Isaiah the 60th chapter. We're not going to go there. We went to Revelation the 21st chapter where Yahweh showed us that Yahweh and Yeshua are actually lights.
Yes, they are.
They are sons.
Yes,
but they're not the Son.
Right.
The S-U-N. All right? And we went to Revelation, the 22nd chapter, where it talks about, well, let's go there and then we'll pick it up. Let's, New Testament, Revelation 22nd chapter. And then we will go to the next reference.
Yes.
The Son of Righteousness, where Yahweh tells us that he's got another name. And Yahweh calls him the Day Spring.
Okay.
Revelation 22 and verse 5. Please follow it into the book. Revelation 22 and verse 5 reads.
And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for Yahweh Elohim giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever.
Talk about us in Jerusalem.
Hallelujah.
All right? He's not going to have to keep the sun and the stars and all that to give light. He said, there shall be no Layil there, no night, no darkness. Again, the earth is a dark place.
Yep.
That's why you need the sun during the day and you need the moon at night, plus the stars.
Right.
And even then, when you go to certain places in the country, like the Ruach was saying last night, it's still pitch black, and you kind of look and see where you're going. All right? It said, there shall be no night there, and they need no candle.
Yes.
Neither the light of the sun, for Yahweh Elohim giveth them or light, and they shall reign forever and ever. So the Father and the Son, they're actual lights, but they're not the natural created lights of the sun, moon, and stars. That's where the Son got his light. From Yahweh, but Yahweh didn't make it a part of his Elohim head. He's not a deity. All right? Let's go to Luke, which is in the New Testament, the first chapter. Luke, the first chapter. So Yahweh had me run these references from Malachi 4 and 2, where it talks about the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness. And the Son of righteousness, he also calls, here in Luke, the day spring from on high. Luke, the first chapter. We're going to read one verse, verse 78. Luke 1 and verse 78.
Hallelujah.
Luke 1 and 78.
Though the tender mercy of our Elohim, whereby the day spring from on high, have visited us.
Hallelujah, Yahshua.
All right. It says, through the tender hasid of our Elohim. In other words, this is somebody that Yahweh sent. Through the tender hasid of our Elohim, whereby the day spring from on high. Now this is talking about a person had visited us. This English word day spring is the Greek word Anatole. That's A-N-A-T-O-L-E. Found at Strong's number 395. It means a rising of light, dawn, the east, day spring, east rising. So again, when you go to these concordances, sometimes the man didn't get it either. But this is actually talking about a person. So you see
Yeah.
it says nothing about, it's talking about Yahshua. But this is what it's talking about. Say Yahweh sent this person through his tender mercy.
Yep.
And the tender mercy was to send him to save us.
Hallelujah.
All
Yahshua
right?
us.
Then it says whereby. That's why the day spring from on high
Yeah.
has visited us.
Day
The
spring.
only persons that are on high are Yahweh and Yahshua
That's it.
and the righteous Malachim. And he didn't send a Malachim.
No, he did.
He didn't call an angel the day spring. He's talking about Yahshua.
Right. His
All right,
body.
in the New Testament, let's go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter. But this is a reference from Malachi.
Okay.
Malachi 4 and 2, the Son of Righteousness. Ephesians, the 5th chapter. These are all references from there.
That's right.
So we can understand it. It's not the natural son. It's talking about a person
Yes, it is.
that Yahweh has sent. And it's also talking about someone that is actually a deity.
Okay.
That is someone that should be Shakah.
God sent Yahshua.
Ephesians 5, I'm going to read one verse, verse 14. Ephesians
Hallelujah.
5 and verse 14.
Wherefore he said, Awake, thou that sleepers, and arise from the dead, and Messiah shall give thee light.
All right, and see,
Hallelujah.
that's why I like
Hallelujah.
Yahweh gave Brother Yosef that title to Hebrew History Month one year, Awake, Sleeping Israel. That's what
Yes.
Yahweh is telling us, awake, those
Right.
of you that are sleeping. Wherefore he amar, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from Hamu.
Yes.
And Mashiach shall give thee oil.
Yes, he will.
So you
Yes,
see
he
how
has.
Ephesians is talking about Mashiach is able to give light.
Yes. Give us the light of
He's not
life.
the natural sun or any of the planets,
ain't not
but he's
that.
able to give light.
Yes, he is.
Now the English words shall give thee light is one Greek word, Pheo. That's P-I-P-H-A-U-O. It's found at Greek number 2017. Means to illuminate, to
Okay.
give light.
Right.
So it's saying this person that was called the Son of Righteousness, the day spring from on high, is able to give light.
Yes, he will. Yes, he has.
So this is talking about Yahshua being able to illuminate us and
Yes,
give us
he
light. That's what
has.
he's
Yes, he
doing
will.
now, illuminating us.
Yes, he
as
will.
far as spiritual knowledge.
That's it.
All right, the New Testament, let's go to 2 Peter. 2
Hallelujah.
Peter, the 1st chapter. 2 Peter, the 1st chapter. We're going to read verse 19. 2
Hallelujah.
Peter, the 1st chapter. And 2 Peter, the 1st chapter. Yeah, it's in front of John. And verse 19.
Praise Yahweh.
2 Peter.
First chapter.
And verse 19, please.
We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that he as unto a light that shineth in a dark place until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your
Hallelujah.
Alright, now so 2 Peter says, we have a more sure davar of Nebuah.
Yes, we
Unto ye do well that you take heed. Pay attention now.
All right.
Don't just sit up here listening and then don't pay attention.
All right.
As unto an ore that shineth in a dark place.
Yes, it has.
There's a dark place in the earth, there's a dark place in you.
That's
So
right.
Yahweh shines that light and you get
Yes,
some
he has.
understanding
Yes, he
about
will.
it. Until Hayam dawn.
Yes.
And there's a day
Day
star.
star.
Arise
Yahshua.
in your lay, in
That's
your
right.
mind,
Hallelujah.
in your heart, in your ruach.
That's it.
So the Son of Righteousness is the day star.
That's Yahshua.
The English word day star is the Greek word phosphoros. That's P-H-O-S, P-H-O-R-O-S. Phosphoros. is found at Strong's number 5459. And it means light bearing.
Okay.
Especially the morning star, day star, giving light. Now here's where he goes into worshiping the planet.
Okay.
The planet Venus. No, I don't mean that. The day star is not the planet Venus.
Right.
It's nothing that Yahweh created. And then he says, metaphorically it means Christ. No, on point it means Mashiach. That's what it means in actuality. Doesn't mean the planet Venus. So the Ruach HaKodesh has given us the ability to discern, and you understand, you don't just put the definition out there and just say, okay, this is it. This is it. No, because Shem didn't write these concordances.
Hallelujah.
Why? Shem was too busy over there in the corner, being rebellious and being blind and, you know, eating what he wasn't supposed to eat, eating slave food.
Right.
But praise Yahweh, he's brought us up out of that. Now we're writing the books.
Yes.
Okay? Let's go to, in the New Testament, Revelation, the 2nd chapter. Looking at the S-U-N, Son of Righteousness.
Okay.
He's not talking about the natural son, but the actual person, Yahshua Mashiach. Revelation 2.
Yahweh, Salams, you know.
And we want to read one verse, verse 28. Revelation 2 and verse 28. Revelation 2, verse 28.
And I will give him the morning star.
All right, so the Son of Righteousness is also the morning star. The English words morning star are two Greek words. Proinos, found at Strong's number 4407, pertaining to the dawn and morning. And Vine's Expository Dictionary says that Christ will come to the overcomer as the morning star. It indicates a special interest for such in himself, as he thus describes himself in the later passage. Morning star, the word star, is, the English word star is the Greek word aster. That's A-S-T-E-R. Found at Strong's number 792. It means a star as strewn over the sky. It means star. All right, so the Son of Righteousness is a star. Let's go in the Old Testament to Numbers. And now this reminds me of the discussion that we had on the star. And Yahshua is a star.
Yes, he is.
And this is what we're talking about. The Son, S-U-N, of Righteousness. Numbers, the 24th chapter. So, for people that think a star didn't come out of Yaakov, yes it did. But it may not be this double triangle.
All right.
But I was talking to another brother, and he gave me some more information on it. So we're still investigating, but so as not to offend anyone, then the star was taken down. All right? But as I always said, we always just prove all things.
That's right.
Then we hold fast to that which is good.
Hallelujah.
All right? Numbers 24, let's read one verse, verse 17, please.
Hallelujah.
Numbers 24, verse 17.
I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not night. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smile the corners of Makol, and destroy all the children of Seth.
Says, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Yaakov. That's talking about Yahshua.
Right, right.
And a scepter shall rise out of Israel. That's talking about Yahshua. So the Son of Righteousness is a star in Israel.
Right, right.
And he's a scepter in Israel. And he shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all her band of Shem. So this English word star in this verse, you notice is capitalized. But again, you can't really The translators did the best they could. You can't really say, okay, if it's not capitalized and it doesn't refer to that. No, you
Right,
can't
right,
go
right.
that way, all right? But in some instances, they did it right, all right? This English word star, you see is capitalized. It's the Hebrew word kabab. That's Kowbab, found at Strong's number 3556. It means in the sense of rolling or in the sense of blazing. A star as round or as shining. Figuratively, a prince. A stargazer.
Okay.
So it's talking about Yahshua,
Yep,
right?
yep.
The prince.
Yes, he is.
Nasi Shalom, right? The Prince of Peace.
That's right.
All right, Old Testament, let's go to Isaiah, the 11th chapter. So the title of the lesson is, and they worship the sun toward the east. So we want to make sure, when we see these type of scriptures, like in Malachi, the 4th chapter, that we don't get confused
All right.
and think that we're supposed to be looking up in the sky to worship anything that Yahweh created.
All right.
Isaiah 11.
11th chapter.
Yes, and verse 1, please.
Hallelujah.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his root.
He said,
Hallelujah.
there's going to come forth a rod. So somebody's called a rod.
Right, right.
And then a branch are going to come out of this man, Jesse, who is King David's lineage.
Right, right,
All
right.
right, let's go to Old Testament, Zechariah, the 3rd chapter. Somebody called the branch. Zechariah, the 3rd chapter.
Praise.
That's in the Old Testament.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Old Testament.
There's two of them.
Zechariah. Not
Okay,
Zach.
I see it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Zech. Yeah, Zech. Z-E. Not Zach.
Which chapter?
3rd chapter. And verse 8.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Zechariah. Chapter 3 and verse 8.
Hear now, O Joshua, the high priest, thou shalt thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wandering for behold, I will bring forth my streams, the branch.
Okay, my servant the branch.